Okay, everybody. Well, after 3 years late and $30 short, adjusted for inflation, we finally have ourselves a new hot tub cover here. Yeah, so this was supposed to happen back in 2019, but it kept getting put off more and more and more. There were some problems with trying to get one for a while, so basically I was just doing some cheap fixes to get it held down. The reason why it needed to get replaced, in case you didn't know already, was because back in March of that year, it actually got blown off in high winds and landed on one of the chair legs with the leg facing up, so it went through part of the cover. So basically, from then on, I kept trying to do cheap repairs to it, and then finally, I think after this year, part of the foam had broken apart, and I knew it was time to get a new one finally. I couldn't just keep putting it off. The problem was, when we got this cover back in 2018, the anchors that you have to screw in, yeah, the screws were nowhere to be found. So I don't remember why we didn't get them or whatever. We were just being lazy, I guess, or something. And then for the longest time, we had a stone holding down each end of the cover. Well, one was a brick. And then at some point, even that wasn't enough to hold the cover down. The cover got blown over. The stone got thrown over the railing onto the grass, which I'll show it to you in a little bit. That was a couple years ago now. And the cover just got damaged more and more. I actually was able to make some cheap repairs with foil tape, but yeah, you can only do that for so long before you just got to put your foot down like, all right, enough of this crap, time to get a new cover. And we did. You notice the cover isn't black, it's actually gray. The reason why I went with gray was for a couple of reasons. One of them was because, well, one, I like gray. And two is that this gray isn't going to get hit as hard with the sun like black does. So I figured maybe that could be good for it too. And also I kind of figured that the gray kind of matches the bluestone on the steps and things like that. And also, what I like about this cover is, I thought it was just going to be a plain gray, but as you can see, it has some like patterns and such on it, which is actually really nice. So this cover came out looking a lot better than I thought it would. So yeah, basically, here's that one stone that was holding the cover down for a while, and at some point, because of the heavy winds and that one stone wasn't enough, I just started putting heavy rocks on each corner of the cover, which is such a cheap man's fix, but I was just being lazy as possible. And then, yeah, so that was going on for a while, and then just this year, I finally decided to do some internet searching and go get a new one. Now, you had to be, well, I don't want to say careful. You had to make sure you knew exactly what your measurements were, and thankfully, I was very careful. I measured everything to a T, as they say, and I was able to find out this cover is a square. It's 92 by 92 inches long in the dimensions. Yeah, okay, that's a square. And then the only thing I had to do was, because we have curved corners here, I had to get the corner radius, which is actually very easy. Thanks to my grandfather, bless his heart. He had like one of those metal, I think, what are they called? Corner measure tools. I forget the name. It's escaping me at the moment. And then I put it, with the cover off, I went on the end of the hot tub here, and was able to get exactly where the exact measurement where it made contact with the surface of the hot tub, which was 10 inches. So we had a corner radius of 10 inches. I checked everything. This is a 5-inch, 3-inch cover. What that means is from the middle it's 5 inches, and then over here, this part is 3 inches. And the skirt was 3.5 inches long. I got that exactly right. And you're really just proud of yourself when you measure something so carefully, put it into your order, and then when the new cover gets put onto the hot tub, it fits perfectly. When I saw that cover fit, I'm like, no, this can't be right. It's fitting too well. So when that all worked out, that was fantastic. The only hard part of that day was I was working that day, and as you know, I'm the only one home right now. So basically, I had to work out a time with work. And then basically what happened was they called me when they were on their way here, so I had to leave work, use some personal time, get the cover on here, and then go back to work. And the good thing was, once I got home for the day, they finally came correctly with the anchors and the screws. I screwed in the anchors into the side here, which I'll show you. I'll show the other side too. You can see they go down nice and easily, nice and secure. And again, not to boast, but I'm just really proud of myself here because I got these anchors down just so these straps are taut. They're not tight, like they're not pulling on the vinyl. They're not doing that. They're just taut, holding the cover in place. And I got both of these equally, just like that. And when I felt how these, when I put the clips in, oh, these things just came out very, very nice. And I'm just very happy that I was able to get them to fit down like that. So yeah, now this thing is actually anchored down properly, not having stones and such holding it down. I can't believe I was doing that for as long as I was, but it did work, all things considered, even though it was very cheap. And then over here, we'll go to the other side. This is a little bit more difficult because, as you can see, it kind of goes, it would go below the platform, so I had to angle each one. Now, there's 3 screws holding in each anchor, the 2 here and the 2 over there. And basically, I got the screws to fit very nicely where they're just snugly holding, because don't forget, you're screwing into plastic here, because if you make the screws too tight, the plastic can crack and then the anchor is worthless. So I got it just enough where it's just holding it snugly against the side, and that's it, no tighter. And yeah, you can see I got both of these anchors angled just perfectly and just taut, so they're holding the cover down and not pulling down on it. They're just holding it in place. And again, it took a little bit of patience, but I was able to get it in there just the way it should be, and I'm really happy with the way this looks. Again, I really like the way that this cover looks compared to the black one, just because it has a little bit more of a design, and just not as dull, I guess. Now, it did say in the maintenance thing that you can, you should clean the cover every now and then, which I will, and also put do it with like some vinyl clearer. Let me say it again, vinyl cleaner, and also some vinyl protectants, I guess. I don't quite know what I should get in that regard. If any of you know, if you know some brands or something, let me know, and I'll get it for this cover, because I want to keep looking good for as long as I can. And really, it just fantastic. The skirt as well fits snugly along all sides of the hot tub, including the corners. And I'm just so happy when I saw how this thing fit on top of it, and I just knew all the information, which I did save, by the way, I put into that order was 200% correct, and that's just fascinating. I couldn't be happier. So yeah, we finally got a new one here, and it's secured this time, and I'm just very happy about this. So hopefully, all things considered, it should stay down here and be good. Now let me show you the old cover. Now I have it broken in half. That didn't happen from it getting blown off. I did that on purpose with an X-Acto knife yesterday, because unfortunately, as you can tell, they don't take the old cover, so I'll have to, oh, there's part of my shoe. We'll have to get it broken up even more, but basically, this is the side that wasn't quite as damaged, but you can already see, this cut right here was just for me cutting it in half yesterday. You can see this leather was just getting all broken here. This is foil taped down. You can see the trapezoid shape where the stone used to be, and it was just ripping apart here. Will it show here, or maybe I broke it with the knife, I'm not sure, but there was some stuff over there. And oh yeah, here it is. So you see how this is all like ripping apart and everything? This cover was just beyond shot, and this is the edge of the cover where the foam was breaking apart inside. It was starting to cave in, and this thing was just so waterlogged. It weighed a ton, which in one respect it worked, which means the wind wouldn't blow it up anymore. But trying to lift it over was just ridiculous, and it was so much heavier compared to this half of the cover. So I gotta just break it up a little bit more, and you can just see how you can actually see where the water used to settle when it would bow down here. You see that area right here? So yeah, this thing was just beyond worn. And as a matter of fact, that's where the chair leg came through in 2019. And this rip happened, I think, when it got blown off and bent over and threw over the railing. So, not thrown over the railing, but like hanging on the middle on the railing. So I did this fix here with foil tape. Again, it did hold for a while, but this thing was done like 2 years ago, seriously. But finally, we got a replacement, and we just got to break this up and eventually get it thrown out. But it's just too funny. But I mean, overall, so this is all good. So what I'm going to do later today is I'm going to check the water, see if it needs any chemicals. And if it does, then I'll put them in. And then probably at the end of today or tomorrow, I'll drop the water temperature down to its winter temperature, which is roughly 60 to 62 degrees. So that way, you know, in case I got any chemicals over the winter, the water's just enough. The water temperature is just high enough to dissolve those chemicals. So what is nice, though, is that when you have the water low, like water temperature lower like that in the winter, when you put chlorine in there, it lasts a really long time, because when the water is that much cooler, the tablets dissolve a lot slower, so it holds that for a much longer time, which is really nice, because we don't really use this in the winter. So that's why I keep the water temperature down like that, because that way the heater doesn't run as much. And the circulation pump got a new pump seal, as you know, back in August, so that should be a good thing. And all things considered, yeah, this thing finally got something it needed for over 3 years now, and I couldn't be happier with it. I'm just so happy that this time the anchors had all the screws. I got them in just taut, like I had said, and it's holding the cover down just perfectly. So I really couldn't be happier about that. And it's nice and strong. I got the there's three levels of foam rigidness. I went with the second level. I believe it's the same as the old cover. If not, it's definitely a little bit firmer, I think, so that's also good as well. And you can also see that they angle it so if it rains, the water goes off to the sides and doesn't just settle in the middle. The old one did do the same thing when it was still intact, but I mean, that is a smart design there, as you can see. And this thing just holds heat very well. I remember a couple of not too long ago, I'd say a few days ago, it was very humid outside, and all the surfaces out here were so cold. Well, not cold, but very cool, that all the humidity was condensing on everything. And the humidity was condensing on here, which means the surface was cool, which means it's insulating the water temperature. The heat's not going through, which is fantastic. So, anyway, guys, there you go. New hot tub cover. Couldn't be happier. All the measurements just came through perfectly, and I'm just so happy that this thing finally has proper anchoring down to the thing like it should be. Hopefully it lasts a nice long time. Thank you very much for watching, and take care.